Top 10 Unbelievable Stories. From jaw-dropping coincidences to shocking twists of fate, the world is full of unbelievable stories that defy logic and stretch the imagination. These tales go beyond the ordinary, featuring moments that seem too incredible to be true, but they are. Whether it's survival against impossible odds, mysterious encounters, or astonishing events that change the course of history, these top 10 unbelievable stories will leave you questioning reality and wondering how such things could happen. Buckle up for a wild ride through the most mind-blowing and unbelievable stories you'll ever hear. 1. Mike the Headless Chicken. Back in 1945, a chicken destined for the chop miraculously survived the farmer's axe and ran around without a head for the next 2 years. The farmer and his new headless chicken, now named Mike, soon left their farm in Fruita, Colorado, and hit the road, showcasing the unbelievable sight of a walking, breathing, headless chicken to all those willing to pay a fee. People from across America gawked and stared at Mike, whilst scientists poked and prodded him to try and understand exactly how he was still alive. The answer lay in the positioning of a chicken's brain, which is situated in the back of their heads. Whilst the farmer chopped off most of Mike's head, much of his brain was left intact. A fortunate blood clot then prevented Mike from bleeding to death. 2. Voynich the bear. For thousands of years, animals have aided humans in the field of combat. However, bears are not always the first creatures to come to mind when thinking of animals in war. A Syrian brown bear adopted as a cub by Polish soldiers during World War II is the standout exception to the rule. Named Voynich, the bear grew up within the 22nd Artillery Supply Company and formed a close bond with the soldiers. They even shared their cigarettes and beer with him. Voynich grew into a 40-stone adult and was officially enlisted into the army to secure his rations. The bear rose from the rank of private to corporal after his exploits during the Battle of Monte Cassino in Italy in May 1944. Voynich allegedly helped carry ammunition crates to the soldiers on the front line. 3. America's project to nuke the moon. As unfathomable as it sounds, the Americans really did consider sending a nuclear missile towards the moon. And for what purpose, you ask? Well, to prevent the Soviets from getting one up on them. Ever since the end of World War II, the two countries were locked in an ever-escalating nuclear arms race that evolved into a space race. The Soviets got off to the quickest start with the launch of Sputnik 1 in 1957, Earth's first artificial satellite. Fearing they might fall behind further, American top brass wanted a show of strength, so the U.S. Air Force began Project A119, aka Project Nuke the Moon. The Air Force wanted a mushroom cloud so large it would be visible from Earth as the ultimate display of one-upmanship on the Soviets. 4. Posthumous execution of Oliver Cromwell. Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector of England, died from malaria and kidney disease in 1658. After the monarchy was restored in 1660, King Charles II sought revenge on Cromwell for his father's execution. Though Cromwell was already dead, Charles had his body exhumed and posthumously executed. Cromwell's head was placed on a spike at Westminster Hall, where it remained for 30 years. Over the next 250 years, the head passed through various private collections before being buried at Sidney Sussex College in Cambridge in 1960, concluding its bizarre journey through history. Henry IV died after eating too many lampreys. As weird deaths go, this one is right up there. King Henry I, who reigned from 1100 until his untimely demise in 1135, had something of a penchant for eating lampreys. The jawless eel-like fish is as strange-looking as it is ancient, with fossils of the creature dating back to the age of the dinosaurs. Although they have been described as tasty, it's not the kind of dish usually eaten in large volumes. Henry I begged to differ. His insatiable appetite for lampreys impacted his health so much that he eventually died after a night of voracious feasting. One theory suggests a toxin from the lampreys was the reason for Henry's death, since the physician who extracted his brain post-mortem reportedly became ill afterwards and died a painful death a few days later. 6. The Dancing Plague of 1518. Whilst strictly fever grips the nation every winter, back in 16th century France, a dancing plague brought hundreds of people to their feet to dance until they could stand no more. In one of the strangest episodes in European history, the 1518 Dancing Plague of Strasbourg saw a spontaneous outbreak of dancing grip the local populace. Up to 400 people danced day and night until they collapsed, with some perhaps even dying from exhaustion. What could cause people to get up and quite literally dance the skin off their feet? Historians have debated the reason behind the dancing plague, but the consensus seems to be that it was caused by stress-induced mass hysteria. 7. Phineas Gage, who survived a rod through the brain. In 1848, Phineas Gage, a railway worker in Vermont, survived a horrific accident where a 4-foot iron rod shot through his skull, damaging his brain. While clearing rock for the Rutland and Burlington Railroad, Gage accidentally ignited gunpowder, causing the rod to pierce his left cheek and exit through his head. Despite severe injury, Gage lived for 12 more years, though his personality drastically changed, becoming irritable and aggressive. His case became pivotal in neuroscience, demonstrating for the first time the link between brain injuries and personality changes, advancing our understanding of brain function. 8. Franz Reichelt, the inventor killed by his own invention. At the beginning of the 19th century, mankind had finally taken to the skies with the invention of the aeroplane. However, in the early days of flight, there wasn't a way for aviators to abandon their plane safety if it came into trouble. Austrian-Hungarian tailor Franz Reichelt wanted to find the solution, and so he invented a suit that he believed could work as a parachute. After many failed attempts on dummies out of his 5th-floor apartment in Paris, Reichelt thought he just needed more height for his parachute to work. 9. When Americans and Germans fought on the same side in War. During the dying days of Wars, a small medieval castle in the Austrian Alps became the backdrop to one of the war's strangest and most unlikely battles. The Nazis had converted Castle Itter into a prison to house a variety of VIP prisoners, including a French tennis star and the sister of Charles de Gaulle. By 4th May 1945, the Nazi guards had fled, leaving the remaining 14 prisoners free to leave. However, the area was still crawling with SS, and as bad luck would have it, one unit was heading their way to execute them. Help came in the unlikely form of Josef Gangl, a highly decorated Wehrmacht major who had become disillusioned with Nazi ideology. When a nearby U.S. tank battalion agreed to help Gangl and his handful of troops defend the prison, Americans and Germans found themselves fighting side by side, the only recorded case during the whole war. 10. Charles VI, who believed he was made of glass. Medieval French King Charles VI suffered from a condition known as glass delusion, whereby he believed he was made of glass and could quite literally shatter if not careful. Whilst it's not an affliction we are aware of today, the condition was not uncommon in Europe between the 15th and 17th centuries. Charles would often refuse to be touched by anyone for fear of shattering. He put iron rods in his clothes to protect himself from falling and breaking. On one occasion, he was even reported to have wrapped himself in blankets to prevent his buttocks from cracking. As we come to the end of this journey through the top 10 unbelievable stories, it's clear that truth is often stranger than fiction. These incredible tales remind us that the world is full of surprises, from mysterious disappearances to miraculous survival stories and bizarre events that defy logic. They challenge our understanding of reality and push the boundaries of what we think is possible. But perhaps that's what makes these stories so captivating. They remind us that life is unpredictable, and in that unpredictability, there's always room for wonder. So, as you step back into your daily routine. Keep an eye out for the unbelievable. You never know when your own incredible story might unfold.
Thank you for watching Just Better TV. If you enjoyed our content, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest motivational videos, fun facts, and inspirational stories. See you soon.